I'll tell you what I think, though. I don't hate Logan Paul. I don't think he's an evil guy. I don't think he's bad. I think he's a dumbass. And he's just got that, like, dumb guy attitude, and he wears that dumb guy jacket. That fucking blue denim with the sheep wool lining. You know? And it's just the way he conducts himself. He just seems so fucking stupid. Controlled by his own ego, yeah. And you get that a lot with all these fucking YouTube stars. Well, most of them. And especially like that Logan Paul guy in particular, because his background is like Disney. He used to be a Disney star, I think, on one of their whatever the fuck shows that suck. I think every child actor that has been in a Disney show is fucked up in some way, you know, or has an enormously skewed perception of reality. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Logan Paul. Do you have an ego, John? Of course I do. It's part of the human condition. The question is whether you keep it in check. Logan Paul is not a person who keeps his ego in check. And he's just so... he misjudged that situation in particular quite a bit. Like, the video starts off with him like, well, he prefaces it with like a thing recorded in advance saying, hey, look, we were here in this forest, this is what we did, like, brace yourself, this is the most emotional roller coaster of a video you've ever watched. Like, stupid shit like that. Like, this is the vlog that's gonna change the world. And then, like, it cuts back to, like, the start of the day, where they show up at the fucking forest, and, like, right off the bat, like, they haven't found the dead guy yet, but they're, like, preparing to go into the forest, and they're unloading their car, and they're like, here's all our camping gear, and he's just joking around in front of the camera, is wearing his stupid fucking jacket, and that fucking hat, that fucking alien hat, an ear hat, no less. Never mind the fact that it's, like, resembling one of the aliens from Toy Story, with, like, the 3 stupid-looking fucking googly eyes on it. It's like, take off the hat, dude. At least. Like, even if you haven't seen the fucking dead body yet. You know what I mean? Just like, you know what this forest is famous for. That's why you're there. You know? That's the other thing, like, when they found the body, they were so fucking surprised. Like, dude, can you believe this shit? It's like, you came to this forest because you know people were actively killing themselves in it. That's why it's such a tourist attraction. It's like, yeah, you go in there with a video camera, you run the risk of catching something on film. That's a little disturbing. You know? He can't even tone down the jokes, like, just before going into the forest. You can't appreciate that this is like a... I mean, I don't care if you go into the forest and you want to film it. I think that's okay. People have done that. It is interesting. Logan Paul hates you, John. Oh, no. Like, I give a shit. So anyway, he can't fucking, like, you know, have his on-screen, on-camera persona mirror the emotional gravity of the environment of where they are. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's a fun thing for them. It's like, ooh, what are we gonna find? I wonder. And then they go in. He still doesn't take off the fucking hat. And then, you know, they find the body. And they blur out the face, at least. Should I finish my bit on Logan Paul, or do you guys not give a fuck? And it's not that I'm not interested in talking about Logan Paul. I mean, I think I think it's a funny and interesting thing, but if you guys have heard enough about it, then I can move on to something else. I got plenty to talk about. But okay, let's finish talking about Logan Paul. Logan Paul, who's Logan Paul? Okay, Logan Paul is the guy on YouTube who had his video pulled and his videos demonetized, and I think is having his channel pulled because he went into the Aoki Kihara forest in Japan next to Mount Fuji, which is a forest that is famous for people going into and killing themselves. And yeah, it's pretty dark, pretty sad. Because for some reason, I don't know what it is about Japan, there's suicide rates there. I mean, I don't know if it's just like it's not about gender, it's just a general anxiety for men and women because there's this pressure to like work so fucking hard, or maybe it's exclusively a male thing because like there's this enormous amount of pressure on them to be the breadwinners. I don't know if that's a thing. Like, but fuck, man, there's a lot of suicides. And so they have a forest for it where it's famous for people to just go in. Usually they go pretty deep in the forest. I mean, like most people, like tourists who go into the forest, they don't really find anything. They won't find any bodies. They'll usually find like creepy shit that's like been left behind, like empty tents and like, you know, the debris and garbage left over from like campsites, you know, because who knows like what people's routine is, you know, people who go into that forest to kill themselves. Maybe they go in there and maybe, you know, they take a few days to like take in the atmosphere of the forest and, you know, maybe camp for a few nights, and or maybe it's the tourists that are just camping. I mean, if you want to kill yourself and you go into that forest, I mean, you probably want to get it. You don't want to waste too much time, you know. And maybe some people, you know, they want to camp out in the forest for a night just to think on it, you know, and then kill themselves the next day, you know. Or maybe it's just the tourists doing it. I don't know. But I would gather, like, if you made the decision, if you made up your mind, and you go into that forest, you'd probably want to get it done quickly, I would think. And that's what happened with that guy that was caught on film, you know, because his body was discovered near the entrance, I think. Logan Paul and his team of guys didn't have to go too far in to find him. And so they did. And they found the guy, and, like, they didn't even have the taste to, like, keep their distance. I mean, sure, they blurred out his face. But then they go right up to his body with the camera, and they got, like, low and high angles and shit. And, like, I don't know if it's, maybe that's not entirely accurate. But they did bring the camera in for, like, closer shots. You know, really, like, milking the shock value of it, which is just in very poor taste, I think. And all the while, it's cutting back to Logan Paul and his dumb fucking hat, talking about how, I don't believe this, bro. Can you believe this? Can you believe this happened? I don't believe this. Can you believe it? It's like, yeah, dude. That's what happens in that forest. That's why you're there. It's like, can you really be that fucking surprised? And then, like, so they do, like, the cutting back and forth for, like, 5 whole minutes of just, like, the body, and then cut to reaction shot of him going, dude, that's messed up, bro. That's messed up, bro. And then he, like, by the end of his dumb fucking video, he tries to pathetically turn it into this, like, anti-suicide positive mental health message where he's just, like, sitting on, like, a flight of stairs looking into the camera going, look, bros, suicide, it's not a good thing. It's a serious thing, and mental illness is a serious thing. So, like, watch out for your friends, bro. And, like, life is important. Life is worth living. And, yeah, it's, life is good, and you always want to live. And, just look out for each other. Look out for yourselves. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. Hit the like button. And I'm peacing out, yo. Peace. One love. It's so fucking pathetic. He's obviously trying to sensationalize the thing, you know? Or like under the guise of it being like a message about mental health. Like, no, it isn't. And he was saying like, well, I didn't monetize the video. Well, who gives a shit? It's just in such poor taste to show that kind of thing on camera, you know? I tweeted about this earlier. I was like, I brought up the example Grizzly Man, that movie made by Werner Herzog, where Werner Herzog directed it, and he's like, the movie is about this dude, Timothy something, and he's this like, one of these like, I live out in the wilderness dudes who like, he believes that he has this natural affinity with bears. He believes he's like one of the bears, and that he has a mutual respect with the bears, and like they won't hurt him, he won't hurt them. And of course, at the end of the movie, he gets killed by, guess what, a bear. And so the whole movie is kind of about this guy who's just ultimately delusional. You know, he thinks he's fucking one of the animals, and then he gets brutally killed by a bear. And, did you just spoil The Revenant? Did you ever watch Bad Lieutenant by Werner Herzog, starring Nicolas Cage? Yes, I have seen that. I thought that was actually a pretty good movie. But anyway, at the end of that movie, they have an audio recording of the guy's death. Like, there was a camera running, or at least a microphone running, when the guy was killed by the bear. And the audio clip is supposedly horrific. There's audio clips out there claiming to be that audio clip, but they're fake. I don't think the real one was ever released. But when Werner Herzog was doing the documentary, he was talking to like a relative of the guy who was killed as like a source for his film, right? And she had the real recording, I think. And he let Werner Herzog listen to it. So on camera, you see him listening to the real audio clip through headphones. You don't hear the clip. You just see him sitting in the chair reacting to it. And he looks fucking like grief-stricken. Just like, it's horrifying, right? Because like, I haven't heard the real clip, obviously. It's not out there. But there's been textual descriptions of the clip where you hear that the guy screaming gets distinctly high-pitched and like, you know, the kind of scream that somebody does when they're dying or they're about to die and they know they're gonna die and they're scared witless, right? It's disturbing to listen to, right? And so you don't like, just watching Werner Herzog listen to the clip is all you need, really. Like, in order to get a sense of satisfaction from the film's story, you don't need to hear the actual disturbing audio. I mean, me as a curious person, I would have liked to hear it, but I don't need to hear it. Just watching Werner Herzog listen to it and seeing how, you know, disturbed he is by it is enough, you know? You know, it's the audio recording's there, you know it's bad, and that's it. So, the reason I bring that up is that, you know, this Logan Paul thing made me think of that. Is that, you know, you can do a documentary on the suicide forest, but you don't have to show a dead body on camera as some kind of money shot, you know, that gives the story a conclusion or an arc. It's not necessary to the arc. You know, it's just in poor taste to do that. I mean, if you're making a documentary and you go into some place like that suicide forest, if you accidentally get something like that on camera, a dead body, that's fine. Like, but that doesn't mean you have to upload it. You know what I mean? Like, what you can upload is perhaps just the witnesses on camera talking about what they saw, and like in a tasteful way too, not in the way fucking Logan does it, where he's just throwing bro at the end of every sentence and just like kind of half laughing, and like it's like, what are you doing, man? Do you have no emotional intelligence that you can't read this situation properly and know how to conduct yourself on camera? Like, show some respect, you know? He's got no respect for the corpse.